Welcome everyone to another edition of Gearbox Garage. I was getting ready to clean out my parts washer, and I've been putting it off because I've got a new shop, and I was hoping that I would already been in there by now. And in the meantime, I've been having to build transmissions and transfer cases and whatnot here. And I had bought new fluid, and I don't really like this setup. Normally what I do is I tear down back here on this bench, and then the dirty stuff, really dirty stuff, goes in here, and then I wash up here. If it's a case half or a bell housing or something like that, I've got a pressure washer set up so that I can wash everything and contain the oil, and then everything goes up onto the clean bench, and I build it. I'm cleaning these case halves, and I don't like the fact that when you place this piece in here on this shelf, everything sits up so high, and when you go to wash parts, well, everything gets splattered, everything gets dirty. And so I've been trying to think of different ways to counter that issue. I bought this stainless sink, and when I bought it, they said that this table was angled, so I thought I could wash everything, sit up here, everything would drain back in. It's not necessarily, it's just a flat surface. This is deeper, but they had some kind of, I don't know if you can see, but there's all kinds of stuff in there, and that's why I was trying to determine just how great stainless it was. I was going to break off all the heavy soot and stuff, but I had to grind. Nothing would take it off. You can kind of see it here a little bit better. Anyway, so that's what I was going to use. I was either going to use that as a sink to clean up or as a parts washer. Being stainless, I like it because it's easier to keep clean than painted surfaces, but because this has got all the little nooks and crannies and everything else. So anyway, I decided I would kind of keep thinking on that. This particular one, what I was thinking of doing was raising this higher, create a nipple that comes up about 1 inch or 2 inches, so that it basically prevents sediment from going down, and then not even having this as a holding tank, just as a return runs down and runs into, maybe even a can like this, and it has a pump in it that just basically pumps fluid right back in. And I'm still thinking on that idea. I don't really know exactly what the future use of these two tanks are going to be at my new shop, and so I didn't really want to spend a whole bunch of time. But what I've done in the past was I had an old boat gas tank, and basically I take whenever I got to clean this, I take a Scotch-Brite pad, kind of poke it there so that a lot of the sediment can't go down, and then it filters down into here. I use a priming ball that has a filter on the bottom of it down inside here, right down in there, and then I prime the system, which is a little 12-volt pump, and I use a battery that was no good for anything other than basically this, and then I run it through a double filter. I think it's 1 micron and 5 micron, and then I dump that fluid that's usually in decent shape back into this one. On this particular one, because I've waited too long, it'll be going into the dirty tank, and after it filters, and then I'll be cleaning all this up and putting new fluid in this. I hate having to jack up one leg just to keep the damn thing full. And the biggest issue is because it's a 20-gallon tank, you got to have 20 gallons in it so that the pump will continuously run the way it needs to. So what we're going to be doing now is going through cleaning this up, and I'm going to show you what the fluid, you can imagine what the fluid looked like, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to run it through a cycle and run it into a cup, maybe even like a Gatorade bottle, so you can kind of see just how well it does. We're going to be cleaning this one up. I might even make some modifications with the way the things sit, because I was thinking maybe I'm going to take that red shelf, and instead of having it sit here and here, maybe stack it up with some, I don't even know, a piece of metal or a brick or something, so that it's sitting a lot lower, so that I got a little bit more height, so that the pump isn't splashing stuff everywhere. We'll see. But that's where we're at now, and I'll show you what it looks like in a bit. Alright, so this is what I've got currently. I took the shelf and set it down on the bottom so it's only, you know, an inch off the bottom there. I currently have a little filter that I am using to kind of siphon some of the fluid, so it makes it kind of down there. I've just got it sitting there kind of wedged for now until I come up with a better solution. But I plumbed it on the bottom so it goes straight down and straight right into the 5-gallon container. And then I got the the boat fuel bulb, and I got it down there running up through and into my pump. Currently I'm using the battery, an old battery that I got, just to see if it works. I went and cleaned out those, and on this I just put I didn't put anything in this filter, and I put a 5 micron in that one just so I could see how it worked. I had this pump for that one that I had never used because the pump was bad, so I figured I would make this one work instead of messing up the red one. That way if I ever did get rid of it or want to go back to original, I still had the original setup. But basically I got the line coming in from outside, running up around and just into this was the original PVC pipe that hooked to the pressure wander, whatever you want to call it. And I just went and got a barb 90, so barb hose one on that, and then threaded into that. And that's all I've got. So with it in a working, so in a basic situation, what it's going to allow me to do is have more depth going through here so it don't splash so much. And I had this transformer, but it's 18 volts. And I think that's going to be too much for that little 12 volt pump, so I'm going to see if I got another 12 volt pump. But for now I can just hook up the battery and go that route. And as soon as you hook it up, it basically starts pulling from down there, and then so it's basically the same amount of pressure as I had before, but now I just got everything lower. I also jacked it up on blocks so that I don't have to bend over as much, and I like it. Thank you for joining me.